Okay. Okay, Matt, I'll stick a link. Well, I'll email it to you to be sure. Okay, Matt, I've just sent the link by email for you. Hopefully that'll work a bit better. Well, I can see myself. That's a start anyway. Then we just got to wait for the rest of them. It may take a little while to show up for them. And here you are. I'll be back to the keyboard in a second.
Oh, gotcha. Having a scotch, having a scotch, having a scotch, having a scotch, having a scotch.
You're still in here all on your own, son. I've got a bit of a teenager issue. There's a link for everybody in the chat who can join that way, and if they can't, I'll email them. Can they see you on? Gee, I'm having one of those moments. Can they see you on YouTube, Matt?
I don't know. I can't see anyone else. I don't know if anyone else.
It's only you and I in the chat currently. I have no idea beyond trees whether it's working better or not. I have no idea what was wrong in the first place.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I've got a teenager issue going on in the background just to make it even better.
Nice.
Don't want one cheap.
Hey, seems to be working fine, Ari. I see both you and Matt and hear both of you.
Okay, that's good.
Good start.
It is. All right, guys. The link is there for anyone who wants to join. I'm just going to see if I can track down the teenager who's gone missing and sort some things out. I'll be with you shortly.
No worries, bud. Take your time.
Well, good, mate.
It's not a senior moment beyond trees. It's a stress moment.
Check out the Mini Mavic Air. What do you think of that?
All right.
You seen that? The Eachine E61, I think it's called.
Let me tell you something, mate. There's not enough little flashy lights on that. You should modify it.
I think you're right. Oh, you've seen my Bolt B, haven't you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I love your little experiments. That one you took out, oh, it was bloody snowing at the time. It was, it wasn't snowing at the time. You had a lot of snow around. Yeah, definitely made it easier to look at. I'll tell you what, though. Those little tellos are a really nice little flying drone, eh?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Now, I tried this yesterday. I added a 1-cell battery to a little FPV camera on a piece of Velcro, and I stuck that onto the Bolt B, but there's enough weight here that it really reduced the flight time to something like 3 minutes, which it normally get about 10 minutes. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised
work.
it took off, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the Bolt B actually has a lot of power. It's a real. I think you've got one, don't you? It's
No.
called something. You've got one that's called something else. It's a Hellfire maybe or something.
No, I've got a. I'll show you.
I think you had a blue version of it.
This was my first muck around drone to fly around the house. And it's a Rage Stinger 240. It's got a 720p on the front of it. Non-GPS, all sorts of bizarre. And it was a toss-up. And to be quite honest, I wish I had got the Tello. And it was a toss-up between this one and the Tello. And do you know what? I got this one because I was suckered in by the marketing of it, because it came in its own metal case and all that sort of biz. Yeah. So it came with a lot of stuff. It had 4 sets of props, and it's a 2.7. You know, it's a typical cheapy sort of drone. It was $160, so it was around the same price as a Tello. But I got it because I could fly it with the RC remote control. I could take it out. Now, is the Tello just a phone control?
No, you can also use a controller. Where's mine? And it makes a huge difference. Peter Carroll was just asking about that. So I bought this $40 game controller. There's only a couple of models that work, so you really have to be careful when you're shopping for them, because I originally purchased one and it wasn't quite the right model.
Yeah.
But anyway, works fine. It does a great job. It extends the range. Works well.
Oh, that's awesome. How long you had that? Have you been flying with that in the videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I've had it a few months. I really haven't done anything with respect to reviewing the controller, and I probably should, because my Tello videos get thousands of views and my other videos get 50 or 60 or 100. So I probably should do more Tello stuff.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, my sorry?
That's what people want, I guess, right?
I know. And it's a funny thing. It doesn't matter what you do. I get, say, an average of 200 per video, which doesn't worry me. I mean, if 200 people are enjoying it, that's good for me. But it's a funny thing, because people look for my biggest one was down in Adelaide with Oz Beach Andy.
Yeah.
Or Kingston on Murray, one of the two. And my second one was my OTG test, where I was testing the OTG out for its distance. It was absolutely fantastic, because I was only getting like 500 meters before it was, cutting video feed out. And I just put the title, and I nearly didn't make it back. I landed in my hand with 0% battery left,
Wow.
Yeah, because it stuffed around coming home. It was going all over the place, mate. It wasn't behaving itself at all.
And this was the Tello?
No, that was a Spark.
Oh, Spark. Pardon me. Okay.
Yeah. I took that 2K out. So that went,
wow.
Yeah, man. And there was no video breakup whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. And as I said, before the OTG, I was only getting like 500 controllable. There's no problems, but the video feed was the issue.
Right, the quality back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So that was the test of that. So I took it out for 2Ks, and it only used 30% battery. And I turned it around, and it started to really stuff around and fly to the side, facing the wrong way. And most of the battery power was trying to straighten it up to get it back again. So in that title there, OTG distance test, nearly didn't make it back. I get all these hits because people want to see a crash, They're not interested of how arty-farty you fly over waterfalls and stuff,
Oh, God. I'm amazed that the Spark will go 2 kilometers. That's shocking, really.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it would have gone further. Ideal conditions, though, there was nothing. I was on probably the side of it's just a very small hill, maybe a 50-meter drop to the bottom over a slope. So it was ideal. It's in the middle of the country. and just heading over cow paddocks basically. So ideal conditions, but didn't even look like dropping out. So it was well worthwhile. But I never fly that far anyway, so it's a waste of time going far.
I've only managed to get, I think, 1.2 kilometers on my Mavic Air. That's about as far as I went. And, I started to get a little bit of cutout and stuff. So, and that was over, a fairly RF free environment, really. So, yeah, to hear you 2 kilometers at the Spark's amazing.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I have heard that with the Air too. One of my mates just bought an Air. And I mean, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. 4K camera, very, very similar to a Spark.
Yep, it is. Yeah.
I'm finding the Mavic Pro, I've got to be very, very gentle with it because that gimbal just wobbles around like nothing's holding it in.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, mate, it's very, very wobbly. Hey, you got to be really careful with them. Whereas the Spark and the Air, same sort of thing. It'll sit there quite nicely.
Yeah.
But I have heard, even though I think it's something like 4 odd kilometers that they say that the Air will get, no one's getting anywhere near that. And the fact that they've advertised that and enhanced Wi-Fi, and a lot of people are having connectivity problems at that sort of distance.
Yeah. That amazes me. I mean, I was happy to get 1.2 kilometers. And to be honest, in most places, we're not allowed to fly that far anyway, legally, right? I mean, it's beyond line of sight, unless you're some kind of alien with, enhanced eyes or something. But
FPV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but you're right. And I never fly that far, ever. And I'm always very close to my drone because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is very close to a lot of things, and I'll be right on it, when I'm flying. I don't want that going anywhere. So I do keep a good eye on it. So that's never an issue. I'm always within line of sight.
Oh, yeah.
That was just stuffing around. I was in the middle of the bush and I thought, bugger it, chuck it out there, see what it does.
I'm lucky. I live in the middle of the bush.
Mate. Yeah. I heard you talking about that earlier. You're out that way. What state are you in?
You know where Ottawa is?
Yeah.
I'm in the valley, which is basically it's a big empty spot with just lakes and trees and mountains, and so it's great for droning because I can pretty much go everywhere around me and there's nothing. I can fly everywhere. So
it sounds terrible.
Which is nice. Yeah. Although on the flip side, there's less action. Like I'm not near any cities, so I can't film cool buildings or there's not people around or stuff like that. So my videos tend to all be kind of just nature, which I guess may be a bit limiting, but
it can be. And and to be quite honest, I think I've exhausted the waterfalls around my area. There's still lots of them, but there's only so much you can do with them, And I have been stuffing around a lot with different techniques of taking a waterfall. We've all done the over the edge and all that sort of thing, and I tried to mix it up a little bit, doing a few different things, and it turned out fine. But go to another waterfall, what are you going to do? You're going to take the same footage again, aren't you?
It is essential, yeah. And that's what I'm doing as well. I got a few places here that I go to, pretty much once a month because the conditions are changing and it looks different and stuff like that. But that's why this winter, when the conditions were poor, I did all those kind of experiments with toy drones and, kind of doing all these hacks. That kept me busy for the winter, so it was nice.
Oh, mate, they were good fun, mate. Yeah, I liked checking it out and seeing what you're doing next, mate. That was really interesting. And you're right, you can't go outside and freeze your fingers off.
G'day guys, I'm back for a period of time. I don't know how long, and greetings to Red Eye at the Gold Coast. There's a link in chat, which if you're running Google Chrome, theoretically, you should be able to click on that if you'd like to join the panel, assuming you've got a camera and a microphone operating.
Yeah. Or an S7.
yeah, my daughter's got one of them.
Yeah, they're not bad. I do all my intro videos and all that sort of thing with my S7. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, look, I do the lead in and lead outs with my the same gear I'm using here, and I've been pretty much a Android guy most of my life, but I've got a couple of Apple devices now that I'm flying commercially because the best of the Android devices only drop out occasionally, but I can't even put up with an occasional dropout if I'm flying commercially.
Yeah, I found I've never had my Android drop out with the Spark. And if anything, the Android has actually got me out of the shit sometimes because the Apple has overheated. It's got a 9.7 screen.
Really?
That
Yeah.
which
Yep.
model?
It's one of the newer ones. I got it last year. 9.7. It's the 128.
2018 Generation 6.
Well, Well, I got it in 2018, brand new. So
Yeah, that's one one of the ones I fly commercially. Never had an issue with it.
yeah,
The
right.
Mini 4 is quite well known for overheating, but it's 4 years old. It's the A8 processor, and it's working almost at 100% all the time. So I'm not surprised they have issues with that.
Yeah. Well, I think it was more to do actually because it was a warm day and the sun was on the screen.
That's an issue. I use a big hood. Do you have it in a case, or are you just running it bare?
No, just running it bare. Yeah.
Yeah, so am I. I don't know. Android just doesn't give the same experience with the app.
Well, what does actually shit me a bit is the fact that the Android will draw power from the remote.
Yeah. That's
Now I'll only get 3 batteries out of the Mavic with running an Android.
Yep.
And yet I can run 3 batteries with the iPad and it will be down to 76%.
Yes, and I think with only on the Android, only on the Windows platform. Sorry, only on the Apple platform can you turn off charging the device from the charger.
That's right.
I had a big problem this winter in the cold, and my Apple my iPhone was dying within about 5 minutes. It's an older
Wow.
6S. But yeah, so I'm going to have to replace it before next winter because I couldn't fly in anything, say, below 0 degrees. When I was getting to like -10, -15, took the Mavic Air out and the phone died. And, then basically it's useless.
-10,
Wow.
-15. We're going to have to watch out for that, Matt.
That's
yeah, I know. Hey, I flew in -33-degree weather this winter in my backyard.
33.
No. Yeah, I did.
-33.
-33. I got frostbite on the tips of these 3 fingers because I lost the tello on the roof, and I had to go up an aluminum ladder to retrieve the bastard, and it was a snowstorm. And I didn't put gloves on because it was dark. It was just the sun was just setting, and I scrambled up the ladder, and the cold from the aluminum frostbit 3 fingers. Ugh, nasty.
Dude, I remember the Canadian winters, man.
Yeah,
that cold, dude. It's the only place I've been frozen.
I know who Red Eye is. That's a very good friend of mine from many years ago from gaming when I used to run Oceanic Gamers Network, and he's also another guitar head like me.
I dig his icon.
Yeah,
Battlestar Galactica, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll appreciate it. His other nickname is Haggis.
Aye, Haggis and neat. A man after my own heart, lad. Great.
Yeah, that's it. Steve is a character. That's for sure. Sorry, I should have picked that, shouldn't I? It's just that I'm in a different community. You leave gaming and move on to droning, and all of a sudden, who's that?
Yeah. Are you a musician?
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So am I. I've done a lot of music, all around the place.
Yeah, I try not to bring it up because didn't you pick it from the guitar cases and the mate on here in the stand behind me over there?
I've just noticed the guitars. Oh my God, they're acoustic. That's acoustic sound though.
Yeah, that's a mate on. I've got 14 guitars, 14 and a banjo and keyboard and various other odds and sods.
We made you play for us last week, man.
Sorry, Hugh, go again.
I said we made you play for us last week.
Yeah, that's it. I try not to remind them because they asked me to play for them.
Well, I haven't asked you to play for me, but I will now.
I don't play your style, that's for sure. I'm sure I'm for that. Oh dear.
I play a Pink Floyd band, mate, so give me a bit of wish you were here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Everyone does that.
I light her up.
Well, you lighter, mate. Beautiful.
Unfortunately, I had a hand reconstruction late last year. They told me I'd never play again. So and I've got onycholiasis. I'm a fingerstyle guitarist primarily, and all my fingernails have died. So between that and the hand reconstruction, I'm only just sort of working my way back in now.
Wow. Yeah. I bet it takes some time, mate.
Doing all right,
Yeah.
buddy. That's all right.
I'm just glad to be able to play. It's I still teach up at Kim's, the children's mental health service for the kids there, but I don't perform anymore. I've only got one lung now, Matt. I don't have. I've got had a pretty horrific injury, and I've got no right hand rib cage or no right hand lung and no hearing on the right hand side. So I don't perform anymore or anything like that.
Holy moly!
I'm
That's
still here.
horrendous, dude.
I'm just one of these guys. I'm typical Australian, mate. You know, they tell us we're going to die, and I just don't lay down.
That's the way, mate.
Oh,
That he says.
you got yourself a PRS. Okay. That a PRS SE or a Paul Reed Smith? He types pretty quick, so he'll answer me fairly quickly.
I can't see the chat. Can you see the chat at all?
Yep.
Okay.
But,
Might because I'm on my phone.
if it's an SE, mate, it's built in the Court factory, so no wonder it feels good to you. USA, cool. You bought it the right way, second hand, because they have absolutely pants second hand value.
So I'm just having dinner.
Sorry, what was it? Oh, you ready? I gave my son my 1941 SJ 100 last week, so he thinks that it's his body every self, as my old granny used to say.
Man,
I've given both my son and my daughter a Gibson acoustic now at this point.
Man, I've worked with a lot of guitarists over the years, with a lot of collection, and Gibson seems to be, and Les Paul too, some of the bands I was with. But Gibson is Les Paul. What am I talking about?
Yep.
But the Stratocaster and all that sort of was always a favourite of a lot of guitarists. Well, especially because we're doing the Pink Floyd thing now. He's very much a finger player. And we were looking at doing a Dire Straits thing. But that's all over.
Nice.
That one. Yeah, great, man. Absolutely fantastic. But Ari, you might have seen, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but we did a show at the Lyric Theatre. That's where we generally play in Brisbane when we do play. QPAC there. Have you ever gone to see a Floyd show there?
Look, I have friends who are associated with a Floyd show. I don't know whether it's the same, but I don't generally go to venues anymore. You know, sort of not in the greatest of health, but I just soldier on, and crowds are a little difficult. I'd like to go. I just don't get out as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I've got a Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul. I've got a Fender Strat. Just to say that I've got them, I rarely play them. I'm pretty much an acoustic animal. I got rid of my two Gibson acoustics. I've got the Maton, which is the EWC ADC, just when I'm doing the Australian thing. And one of the cases there has got a Martin in it.
Nice.
They're my beasts of choice at the moment.
It's beautiful guitar.
Hard to do finger style without the nails. Well, that's got to be Steve.
Do you know the name of the band that your friends are involved in?
It was no, they just know some people who are associated with the Floyd show.
I played with the show here. Hasn't played for a couple of years now. Beyond the Dark Side.
Okay, no, that's not the one. I don't like the word tribute band. I was going to say that there's quite a few tribute bands, but I don't like their label.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
People always want to stick a label over on everything. The thing about Floyd is it's that iconic, and everybody. Oh, there are a couple of bands that try and keep it utterly. They're almost mimicry, but most people tend to put their own slant on it, and it's just so iconic that there's a lot of room for interpretation. I can't put that pic across from the phone to the stream easily, Steve. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's very iconic. It is. You see that the people in the audiences too, they're playing every note along with everybody.
Yep.
Because they know everything. They know every drum beat. They know every note. They know every keyboard solo. You know, it's too much pressure, man.
Jeez, I haven't tried playing that since I've had the hand done. Breathe, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the kind of thing you normally play on an acoustic.
Love that song.
I'll quit while I'm behind, Matt.
Hey, bro, I haven't picked up a guitar in 20 years. That sounds way better than I could do.
Yeah. You know what it's like. I don't have to tell Matt. You don't practice something, and then you used to be able to play a note perfect, and you pick it up 2 years later, and I can play that. Whoop. No, you can't.
I'll tell you something. Right now, I did classical piano for 12 years, and I had a concerto that I had to learn, obviously. So I learned that. Now I was a terrible sight reader, and I committed. Here's a bit of lettuce there, and I committed everything to memory. So I was a terrible sight reader, so everything I was doing was all by memory. So I had this concerto in there. Now, that was when I was 15 years old. Now, I've been in a lot of bands and all that sort of thing. I've played, Chisel and all that sort of stuff. I played K-San maybe 3,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I haven't played it for like 4 years? I can't remember it. But I can still play that concerto that I learned when I was 15. Work that out.
I find that if I actively try and remember something, I will come to a screaming halt every time. But if I put my mind in neutral and just let that play it by muscle memory, then I can often get through it. A few friends who are still playing. Jeff Sillence, the bagman, a few others are still playing professionally now, and they say to me, "Oh, come down to X or Y venue and I'll drag you up on stage." No, you won't. I can make myself look sufficiently stupid on my own without your help. Thank you.
I just need a couple of bourbons for that.
There are some songs I keep playing. I don't know, the Wildwood Flower. I've been playing that for 35 or 40 years with increasing levels of accuracy.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you, mate. I hear you. I don't do any club gigs or anything. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's been a bit of a culture shock to have to go back to a plectrum after 20 years of finger picking.
Oh, absolutely.
You still play, Matt, regularly? Like, you play professionally or something?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I do a lot of work in studios and stuff, and I've had to convert my studio that I did have into another room. So I'm in the midst of building a room in my shed now, so I can set my studio back up again, so I can start writing music for my footage.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, because I like as I said, I like the whole creative process of drone flying, because when I fly, I have the music that I've already selected for where I'm going. So I've got headsets in and everything, and I'm listening to the music as I'm flying. So sometimes you get a feeling, I want that to happen now, something. And there's one shot I do in one place where I fly into the waterfall.
Yeah.
And I only just sort of, I took about 10 goes before I was chickening out every time. But I thought, bugger this, I'm just going to keep going. And I raised it up and just went, and it didn't quite see the top. And then I did a spiral up anyway. But that was the music that I was listening to that I wanted that to happen, and it sort of built up, and there's the waterfall,
Yeah,
I was thinking about that last night in bed, that I normally film first and then pick a song and then try to edit to it. But I was thinking about that last night, going to Epidemic Sound or whatever, finding something that I really like, and then going out and doing exactly what you said, listening to it while I'm shooting. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Do it, dude. Do it. It'll you know what? You'll get better footage out of it, I think.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will.
Because if you get emotionally involved with what you're listening to, what you see, you'll want to be exactly as emotional as what you're listening to.
Yeah.
And you can pick your shots, and you can look at that and go, that'll go with that, and just play the song over and over. And this is where I was getting ideas for different shots that I was doing, and I think it turned out all right. Oh, well.
Your stuff turns out really well, Matt. I'm, as far as drone operations go, I'm a specialist pilot. I've been radio control flying for 30 years. I can fly anywhere and anything, but camera-wise, no. I'm very, very depressingly average, and all of the creative process of making videos is very new. I'm just finding my way to it. I'm often listening to music in my head per se when I'm flying, but I've always done that. What I find that surprises me at times, I'll put together one of my basic videos by my standards, and then when I play it back, I notice that I've got the transitions synced with the music, and I never was not intending to do. I don't consider that I'm that proficient yet to try and do that. But when I put it all together, lo and behold, half of them are synced up anyway.
Yeah.
It's obviously just an instinctive thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll leave you to chat a bit longer. I'm going to go and see what's happening on the teenager front. I've left the wife in charge of that. But as Mikey would say, I'm streaming for God's sake.
I've actually got to nick off because I've got to get up at 4 a.m. to get this sunrise over the bloody dam there, mate.
Mm-hmm. I've still got about another 2 hours of footage there. All I did was all I made into that first video was just one battery on the Phantom 4, up and down the causeway.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, mate.
I'm going to get right behind me drone, and I'll be inches off of shit, mate. Don't worry about that.
I enjoyed the flight up and down the damn wall and so forth. It was a bit. The heart was going pity patty when I was down the bottom near the wastegate on the wall, but it all worked out well. I was just hoping I wasn't going to lose connection when it was down in the canyon there.
Down there's not too bad. I mean, but when you start losing GPS, like I have been lately, when I've been up the top of a waterfall, and I go, oh, it's really nice down there, and I'll drop it down to about minus 40, and all of a sudden, weak GPS signal. If I lost connection, where's it going to go?
Well, it should go straight up, because the DJI equipment measures height in relation to takeoff point, not to where it is, unless you're right. So theoretically, if you lost connection, it will hover for the prerequisite time, and then it will go straight up till it reaches whatever your return to home height is above takeoff point, and then it'll head to you. So theoretically, I always like to say theoretically, you should be okay.
Okay, because I was a bit concerned about the GPS loss of the drone going, where am I? I don't know.
They can position hold fairly well without GPS.
Absolutely. I fly in my house like that all the time.
Yeah. And, so unless you were perilously close to the waterfall and you were getting a bit of Venturi effect from the falling water, which might suck your drone into the fall, into the stream, as long as you're a few meters away, I reckon you'd be okay.
Yeah, okay.
famous last words. All right, I'll be back.
Righto, take care, fellas. I've got to nick off.
All right, Matt. Take care, brother.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. Hey, good to catch up with you, eh? We'll do it again sometime.
Indeed,
Yeah,
absolutely.
No worries, man. Or you take good care, mate, and I shall see you next time.
Nos vemos, amigo.
See you, mate.
So it's only me left in the live stream. Ari, you left me. And I start singing Pink Floyd. Is anybody out there? Oh, wait a second. I know what I can do here. Oops, sorry about that. That was awfully loud, wasn't it? Goodness. There we go. That way you guys don't have to look at my ugly mug. This intro will be brought to you by Remote Pilots Australia.
I have returned.
Welcome back. I was just trying to entertain the masses with my
You're not
footage.
stripping again, are you, Hugh?
What's that, buddy?
You're not stripping again, are you?
No, just playing some drone footage while I was alone here.
Yeah, I keep changing the footage in my little picture-in-picture window up the top. I've got to figure out a way to get it to transition from one to the other. I haven't figured that out yet, so I have to do it manually. OBS,
Yeah, I haven't done much with OBS.
OBS is good, but I don't think that any of them will do everything I'd like them to do.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. I'm probably, at some point, I will put a screen capture software on the computer, and I will do a tutorial on what I've done so far. Everything from how to start a live stream to SNAS to OBS and making basic elements. I'm certainly no expert, but there are a lot of people who are not as far along as I am, so I'll give them a bit of a heads up.
What's the great thing about YouTube? You know, we can all share what we know, and that takes a lot of us a little further along.
I have learned an awful lot about an awful lot of subjects on YouTube. Yes, droning, that's how I got introduced to you guys, by researching on YouTube, but music, lost count of the amount of songs I've learnt through through watching on YouTube and amateur radio and virtually everything.
Well, everything I've learned about editing and using like Adobe Premiere Pro and whatever, I've just watched videos from people like Casey Neistat and Peter McKinnon and all those kinds of guys.
I just cannot get my head around Photoshop.
It took me quite a while to get onto Photoshop. I was using something called Fireworks, which was the web-based kind of version of Photoshop that Adobe had. I don't even think they have it anymore. I think it's been deprecated and gone now. But anyway, it was specifically for web, so you could do a lot of things automatically, like slicing images for when they used to do that back in the old days. And so I had to slowly transition to Photoshop, which was a problem because it was it's a different tool, but the concepts of the layering and what are still the same. So once you learn that kind of layering process and whatnot, it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah, it does intimidate me a little bit. Good day, Sonia and Thomas. I've just put a link in the chat. If you'd like to join us, Thomas, if you're in any way inclined, tonight might be a good night. I had a look before. There was only 4 people here, so it's a very small crowd. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. But I hope that you're doing it, Sonia. I don't know whether you ended up thrashing out the needle situation with your doctor, but I hope you did.
Oh. Yeah, I wonder if we'll get an update.
Sonia's got to take subcut blood thinners twice a day, and she's just finding that she's had enough of the needle, and I know that feeling. You can tell that Sonia and I would never make life as a drug addict.
The only needles I like leave marks on my skin like this.
Well, for a guy who didn't have any tattoos until your 30s, you've certainly made up for it since.
I've got tons of tattoos now. Yeah, I really love them. It's something I really enjoy. If I had more money, I'd be completely covered, like my arms, full sleeves. They're bloody expensive here.
I've got several custom designs here still on trace paper for me. Unit tattoos from projects, and a couple that were done for me by guys who were in projects who are artists as well. Sleeves and the sort, and they're gorgeous art, but I've never seen a tattoo that I liked enough to adorn my body with it permanently.
Exactly. And so this one, for example, I designed that. I designed it in Photoshop. I actually printed it out and taped it to my arm so I could see exactly how it would look before I got it done. And I've done that with every tattoo on my body except one.
Are the shield designs actually historical, or they're just ones that you've made up?
Well, except for the Raven, that was a common drawing. But no, this one's supposed to mimic the Canadian flag. This one's supposed to mimic the Scottish flag, and the other colors are just colors I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just keeping my eye on what's going on in the chat for a change. I'm slowly learning that. It took me about 3 or 4 weeks before I could remember even to look.
I know you're doing a great job as a live stream host, Ari. You seem to be very stressed about it, but you're doing a great job. Your streams are smooth, man.
I want to try and, for the moment, we're just having, as I said before, when Claude was in here, it's a big conference call. I want to try and put together some content, some stuff that I can stream into the OBS for others of interest, maybe little bits of news and so forth. And eventually, because I've met them, I'm sure that I can get a few of the people from the community to come in for, I don't like the word interview, but for a chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But of course, it all comes down to time, Hugh. I'm starting to run out of time now. It would be hard for me to go back to full-scale commercial operations right now with the other demands on my time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you got to ask yourself, what do you enjoy doing the most?
It's a two-edged sword. I enjoy this more than I would rather fly recreationally than commercially, and I enjoy YouTube as an extension of that because I'm dealing with the people in the community, and I like that. But I feel obliged to try and earn for the family. But perhaps I will just content myself with training the kids up to commercial standard and then say to them, you go out and earn, because realistically speaking, I have exceeded all of the expectations for recovery health-wise.
Mhm.
I'm doing way more than they ever expected I'd do. By this time, they expect I would have been decomposing. But willpower takes you only so far. Eventually, at some point, I'm going to will my body to get up, and it's going to say no.
Yeah.
If I can continue to get around until I'm 60, that another 5 years, that'll be good. So I guess I better get the kids going. Yeah, I find watching all the streams the whole day is gone.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know, Thomas, you're always there, mate. I notice that wherever I go, you're there. When I came upstairs this morning after doing that, the dawn flight, because I wasn't even sure. I didn't think that it was streaming correctly, because Art had said that it didn't work for him. And I didn't do what Philly Mike does. He takes a second phone with him so that he can watch the chat. So, but I didn't have one. So I just went downstairs and fired up the iPhone, and I used the Go4 app and took off. And I just stood there talking to myself like an idiot for 2 batteries, thinking to myself, no, it's not really going live, but I'll better talk just in case. And when I came upstairs, of course it was. And when I played back the videos, I saw you and Claude and everybody commenting. So I sent you all that email. Yeah, it's addictive. Just, yeah. Oh, look, that's it, Tom. I was saying to them before you arrived, I'm not really comfortable with the camera either, so I tend to just think of it like a big conference call with my mates, and I forget that it's streaming all around the world, and it's going to be on YouTube for 9/10 of forever.
I try not to think about that either, because it makes me a bit uncomfortable, which is one of the reasons I don't do streams, or I don't like filming myself. I go and film drone stuff, and then, maybe I'll do a voiceover or something, but I guess I need to get over that.
Well, you notice, sorry.
With respect to being a hobbyist or commercial pilot, can you still, if you were a hobbyist, can you still use your drone footage on YouTube and make money?
Yes, you can in Australia, not in many other places. We have a class of pilot here that, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. They brought it in here in Australia it was either 2014 or 2016. So we have commercial and recreational, and then they have what they call excluded class recreational. And essentially what that was originally dreamt up as a way of letting hobbyists make $1. And they have to fly aircraft under 2 kilos, so they can fly Phantom. They're not allowed to fly in controlled airspace.
Right.
And they have to fly to the standard operating conditions. They're not granted any exemptions like commercial operators are. But other than that, they can go and operate commercially. Now, I was a bit worried that when the new laws came in come July, that they were going to dispense with that class. A lot of commercial operators don't like it. They think that the excludeds are stealing business from them, especially in the real estate and the pretty pictures segment of the market. But what I say to people is, if you haven't got something unique about your business that makes you stand out and makes people come to you over those excluded pilots, then you're in trouble anyway.
Right.
And I've got my eye on the future. If my worries don't pan out and the business does build, there's going to come a time when I'm going to need more pilots than I've got. And if people, where are you going to go? I'm going to go to these people who are excluded class pilots and say, well, it's time you got your r.p.a.s and come work for me. So they've decided to keep it in the new laws. And the only downside is, if they're flying commercially, they have to register their aircraft commercially at $160 each per year. But
even hobbyists?
Yeah, well, only if they're flying in the excluded class.
Okay.
And even I could do that. I've got 8 aircraft. I can say to them, these 4 I'm only using for recreational purposes, and I will be charged $20 each for them per year.
Right.
And these 4 I'm using commercially, and I will be charged.
I see. Okay.
$160. But those 4 that I deem for recreational use, are not covered for commercial operations with insurance. And if I'm caught flying them, I will be sanctioned. So you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. And they want you to register by serial number each individual unique aircraft. So
Yeah.
just because I've got 3 Sparks, I can't just register one and use the one that I want. I've got to register all 3 or use the same one. Same with my
but it's only $10 to register, so that's
20 recreational, but 160 if I want to use them commercially.
yeah.
And if you only got one, I suppose it's not a big deal, but I've got 8 if I want to register all of them for commercial operations.
Yeah.
The mother car is in the garage, so I got to bring her to work. Okay, not a problem. I don't think any Irish or UK guys does stuff like this. I've seen a couple of guys stream from over there, Tom, but none of them regularly. I've seen Eden Valley drones, and I can't think who else. It might have been Steve Pulsar. I think I've seen him stream a couple of times, but not on a regular basis, no.
So Thomas, there's an opportunity for you to start your own stream, man.
There you go.
There's I guess she doesn't do a stream. There's this I think she's called the Irish Drone Girl. I like her channel. Mid-30s, cute Irish girl, goes around beautiful country, filming countryside. Great channel.
I watched the video from a young lady in Wales. By the look of her, she would have been early 20s. And she was climbing the mountains there with 3 or 4 of her friends and walking along the ridge lines, and one of them had a drone. And they were using a gimbal. So they put together some really nice footage. I did leave some encouraging comments and told her I'd like to see more, but as far as I'm aware, she hasn't released anything more.
Okay, and this girl's called Drone Girl. My apologies. Not the Irish Drone Girl, but she's in Ireland. Based in Ireland, anyway.
Chrissy. Okay.
Great channel.
I'll bring that up. I don't know whether I've subbed to her. No, I'm not subbed. She's got 20,000 subscribers.
Oh, big channel.
She can't be doing badly.
Nope.
Right,
that's the thing, she's young and beautiful, and she's got a beautiful place to film. I mean, she's just got all the check boxes ticked. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Well, that's the thing about the UK in general, UK and Ireland. Just for Thomas, I separated them. It's got such a long historical record, and so many places, all the castles and the country residences and the historic places. Here in Australia, if you find a building over 100 years old, that's rare, and 200 years old is almost unheard of.
Well, like I say, they talk about Harvard being an old university, these Ivy Leagues. I went to Aberdeen, built in 1495.
But even the United States, so the Pilgrims got there. What was it, 1492? Oh no, that was Columbus, the alleged discovery. Although we both know that Eric the Red was there long before.
True enough.
But realistically speaking, let's say the 1500s, the Europeans started arriving there. That's still a good 300 years before anybody made it here.
Yep, it's amazing. I love the history over there, and I was very fortunate that I was able to work over there and study over there, and I had a great time there.
Yes, I enjoy all of the history. I read, and US history as well. I'm aware of a lot of the explorers of the early continental United States, and of course the earliest of them, which the US citizens don't want you to remember, were French Canadians. They were coming down through what's now the continental United States in the 1500s.
I'm gonna have to go back and start reading some more of that history, because I studied all that stuff in school, and I really wasn't in a place where I wanted to hear all that stuff. I wasn't interested in North American history at the time. I was really into medieval stuff, but so I kind of missed all that.
Hello again, Brent. He's watching while driving. It's really interesting. I'm a history buff. I find it very, very enjoying. I recently read about Mason and Dixon, as in the Mason-Dixon line fame. Of course, they were British. and went back to Britain after surveying. They were called out to survey the line, and then went back home.
There you go. I once lived below the Mason-Dixon line.
Mark Knopfler does a very, very nice song on it. I can't think of what it's called. It's worth looking at.
Oh, Mark Knopfler? Yeah, I love that. God.
Yeah, I do. I like him very much. He, of course, his early biggest influence was Chet Atkins, who I think was a god.
I don't think I've listened to anything by him.
Oh, go do a YouTube Google on him.
Chester or Chet Atkins?
Chet. It'll be Chet. Chet Atkins. And he's the only guy I know who 3 different guitar marks have released a model of guitar named after him. He predominantly country, although he did a lot of other stuff. He was probably
not a lot of twangy riffs to his music, which I like that. I really like the glass or brass slide. I mean, I just love that sound.
Well, if you do a search for Chet Atkins, and then do a search for Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins, because I think Chet died when Mark was about 28 to 30. But Chet played with Mark Knopfler, and
oh, there we go, instrumental medley, cool.
I can only think of him. Chet Atkins only sang once, from my knowledge. He didn't have a singer's voice, but he was a brilliant player.
Yeah.
And you've got to get Thomas O'Sullivan to put that link into the Irish rowing team. That was funny. That was very funny.
An Irish rowing team. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's a gag or whether they are a genuine rowing team. They're allegedly being interviewed after a sporting event. And yeah, you've just got to watch it. If you've got that link, Thomas, I should have kept a copy and I didn't. If you've got it, would you pop it in the chat again? Go ahead.
Oh, nothing important. Go ahead, Larry.
No, I was just going to say, he originally gave it to me as a example that his accent wasn't too extreme, which is true, but it was just funny on its own merits. Very, very funny. I'm feeling tired. I don't know why.
You haven't slept all night, right?
I got 2 hours today. Nothing yesterday. Not much the day before.
Yeah. I'm usually, like I say, I'm usually very regular. I get pretty much 8 hours every night of the week, except last night, which was odd for me. But
you bastard. Yeah. They're 100% real. They're world champions, and they got seconded in the last Olympics. Sick. Yeah.
Nice.
But they're utterly hilarious in the interview. Literally, they're so funny. That's why I wondered whether they were genuine sporting icons or whether they were actors taking it off. It's I'm waiting to get. Not a problem.
Bio break.
Sonia, are you going to pop into the channel with us? Things are looking very sparse. I'm probably going to call it fairly shortly. As a matter of fact, I'll call it in another 12 minutes at midnight my time. Ho hum, I need to take a leaf out of Hugh's book and play something entertaining, which that's going to be interesting. If I seem to be slow, it's because I reorganized all of my taskbar shortcuts today, and that is definitely working out as a mixed blessing. Okay, what have we got here? Oh dear. Ancient family photos. Come on, we've got to find something. No. I need somebody else in the chat, sorry, in the panel to blabber on while I'm trying to do something here. Philly was he was at church. He dropped in to say he'd be by later, but it looks like he got sidetracked. Okay, animal pictures. No, we can all get animal pictures. Actually, that's cute, if that's what I think it is. Yes, I got to share this one with you guys who are watching. This is Spud with Ollie up there when he was a little boy. Have you just picked up again, Hugh? Because I can't see the screen, but I heard something. I got to show you this picture. This is Spud, Luna, my family, whatever she's calling herself this week, and my co-pilot there. It's a really gorgeous photo. I've got to share this. Here we go.
He looks pretty chill up there on his pillow.
Yeah, he's taken to spending the evenings in here with me, and I don't know why. There you go. I don't know.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's Spud and him.
They're both little babies.
Yeah.
Oh
look, what
That's
happened was we've got his mother. We've still got his mother.
Yeah.
And we've got 3 generations. They're all white. And when she had the litter, he was premature. He was virtually bald. He had no hair on his head, and he could not lift up his head to suckle on a teat.
Oh.
So literally from word go, it was in the middle of the night. I drove up the road and got goat's milk. And then the next morning I went and got the proper formula and some syringes. And they said to me that it wouldn't work. He was too little to feed from syringes, that I'd drown him. He needed to be intubated. And at the time I couldn't afford to do that. So I just said, well, I'll do the best I can. And I got up every 2 hours for over 2 months and syringe fed him, and he survived.
Wow.
And I sort of, when it started to look like he was going to pull through after a couple of weeks, I thought to myself, what am I going to do with him? So I got my family to come in, and I used to say to her, I need you to burp him, which isn't as silly as it sounds, because I used to feed him 6 or 8 syringes, and she'd put him on her shoulder and tap him on the back, and eventually he'd go, and he'd want more. And it worked. After about 4 or 5 days of that, she said to me, Papa, I want him. I've got to have him. So I thought, beauty, mission accomplished. And they've been an item ever since.
Oh. Yeah. That's adorable. Now, you know what you need to do, though? You need a different colored towel on the back of that chair so we have better contrast with the cat.
No, that's not a silly idea, is it? I'll do that next time. I'll put a blue one on there.
There you go.
He's a good boy.
Camouflaged, right?
He knows that he and I have got some sort of special connection, but he can't remember what it is.
He's pretty adorable.
You'll send it on. He's going to send that link to you on Facebook.
Cool.
And he's leaving. Okay, bye, Thomas. All right. Sorry, you're ahead of me. I see that you've answered him. Sorry, Hugh.
Oh, no worries.
I'm going to call it at midnight my time in another 7 minutes. We're getting down to only a few of us, and I've been going for, according to the timer, I think 3 hours and 37 minutes just then.
No worries, bud. Time to get some rest. I just thought I'd hang in with you and keep you company.
Oh, look, I'm glad you did, Hugh. It's really nice to have you here. It would have been very disappointing to start it up and sit here by myself like a bump on a log.
I did that for my first live stream. Yeah, I remember.
It's all right. I don't mind doing it. I'll give this time slot another go next week. We had a few Australians in here, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, that was cool. Nice to be on the panel with Matt. I haven't seen him much. So.
Matt is really artistic in his videos.
Yeah, he is.
Have you checked out his page? You have checked out his page.
I have, but you know what? I haven't been getting his notifications. I just went to his page this morning, and there's tons of videos I haven't seen lately. So I got to catch up today. If
I aspire to be as good at video creation as that.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a full-time artist, right? That's what he does.
Yeah, he's very, very talented, and he's a real classic. There's one there. I can't think of the name of the video, but it's when the first one he got when he's Mavic, and it made me laugh like crazy. He's very good. He only lives about 20 minutes drive from here, and he and I are making tentative plans to go out and fly together. So,
which fun to do a collab together.
Well, I've never gone flying with another drone pilot.
Nor have I. Not yet, anyway.
Well, if you come to Australia or I come to Canada, then we'll meet up. Of course, if I come to Canada, I won't be allowed to fly. Hello, kiddo.
That's true, unfortunately, yeah.
Hang on a minute, mate.
Yep. Oh.
Sorry about that, Hugh. Just had to deal with that. Kids, you don't want a couple cheap, do you?
No, I'm done. Mine's 25.
Well, see, you've got prior
Check.
experience. Yeah, all right, Brent.
But he's all big now, so that's helpful.
How many do you have here?
Just a son, just the one.
I'm an only child. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, my son had a lot of health problems when he was little, and both my wife and I were working, and we just didn't take the time to have more kids. Which in hindsight, I'm kind of sad that we didn't, but there you go.
I nearly killed my mother. She wasn't able to have any after me, and so I was left the typical life of an only child. I always related better to adults than I did kids my own age. I also had lousy health. All of my life I've had lousy health. I just refused to lay down. That's why I couldn't get into the regular military. I failed the the medical many times.
Yeah. You've done all kinds of good stuff, though.
Look, what I say to the kids is it's easy to find reasons why you can't do things.
Mhm.
But why do people focus on that when you could just as easily spend your time finding reasons why not?
Yeah, there's lots of things to do, especially in the world we live in now. Despite there being so much more competition, there's also a lot more opportunity, and there's a lot more. The barriers to entry to a lot of things are lower in some cases. So
Yeah, well, that's a mixed blessing too. The lowest common denominator has become a problem. But well, look, when you look at people like Mike Roche, who really have some severe challenges that they have to overcome, and then what they go on to achieve simply through dogged determination and the refusal to give up, I'd be pretty piss weak if I didn't keep going. And I'll be honest with you, I hate it keeps coming up in conversation. Something will lead towards something in my past, and I always think, well, do I mention it or don't I? And I'm pretty open, so I end up saying it, and everyone goes, "Oh, I have never felt that I was in that bad a way." Even when they were doing the major surgery, even when they told me that I was terminally ill, I never thought I was. Seriously, I never felt that I was.
Yeah. I have tons of health issues. I don't focus on them. I don't talk about them too much. The hips, I mean, I've got issues with those, and I got other things wrong. But you know what? I just go and do what I can do and have fun doing it. That's all I try.
Yeah, that's it, Hugh. There are too many people who get hung up. Not me. I will say occasionally that I can't do things. The reason I can't do crowds is a solid thump in my right hand side might kill me.
Yeah.
So I don't. You won't see me in a mosh pit or a crowded venue anymore. Because when
might check to one next week. Damn it! I'll have to go myself. Larry.
You know what they say when the alcohol's in, the wits are out. All right, mate. I'm going to call it at that point. It's
All right.
It's 1 minute to go. Look, anybody who's left in chat, thank you for joining us. And anyone who watches the live stream, thank you very much again, Hugh. You know that you're always welcome until you get sick of us. And until next time, it's Remote Pilots Australia, and I'm Ari, and bye to everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.